Hello and welcome back to the Votes Net. This is your host Doc, and today we're going to be discussing the MVP situation in the NBA and why. Without question, it should be the boy Russell Westbrook, as we all know, King Clutch, King Triple Double, the man, the dude, Russ West. And today we're going to be discussing this. If you guys like the discussion, click the like button, subscribe if you're enjoying the discussion that we have on the Votes Net, and comment below who you think the NBA MVP should be this year, and I am going in on this subject. So, Russell Westbrook, I will say this loud and clear, is averaging a triple double. Russell Westbrook is averaging a 30 point, 10 and 10 triple double in the NBA. How? How does a man average a triple double in today's NBA with such legend stars as LeBron, KD, Steph, James Harden, Anthony Davis? He's averaging triple double, guys, with 30 points on top of that. Just saying that tells you that that is an MVP season. What his team needs him to do every night is average a triple double just to make him competitive, and he's doing this. He's allowing them to be put in a situation where they can succeed and win. And when people question is Russell being selfish by the way he's playing, how is a man selfish when you average a triple double? You tell me. You have 10 assists a game, and that's a selfish player? That makes no sense. He's clearly getting his teammates the ball when he can. He has a limited roster in front of him at all times that he's just trying to make work and see their what ability they have to help with the success of the team, and then it's just not there half the time. Half the time his teammates can't knock down the open shots, or he have more assists, and he's giving them the ball when he can. But when you look at it, why would you pass more than you are? You're the most important player on the team. You're the only one that can make the shots that you need. It's not like previous situations where you have, I would say, Kobe on the team with Paul Gasol, Lamar Odom, and all of them that could hit shots, but you take more than you need even in those moments. I mean, come on, you're trying to make a difference with your team success rate, and it just seems like it's null and void half the time. People still think you're ball hog when you have no one else to pass to, and you're still getting 10 assists. That's a lot to do with no one on your team. But you got to look at the situation around him too to make your case for why Russell Westbrook should be the MVP. LeBron James is the best player in the NBA at all times, no matter what. But when you look at the current season, he's not having a MVP season in the fact that he's not improving. His team is not playing up to the best of their abilities. The Cavs should not be 3 games ahead of the Celtics in the standings. That just shouldn't happen. They should have way less losses, but they're kind of taking their foot off the throttle to focus on the NBA Finals when that comes, and that's fine with me. There's no issue with that if that's what you want to do, because all his success will be measured on his future championship wins, not his regular season success. So I understand why he's doing that, but in turn, by doing this, you are taking yourself out of the MVP discussion. Period. When I see this, because you're not putting in your best foot forward when you're playing during the season, and your team's not playing up to their success. So with that, even with your great numbers, LeBron is out of the discussion. Then you can look at Kevin Durant. I never will understand the argument for Kevin Durant, because when you see him, he obviously doesn't want to be a leader of his team. He does not want to be the focal point of the team. He wants to be on a team that can have evenly distributed passive success and importance to the team as possible. He doesn't want all the focus to be on him. He'd rather some of it be on Steph Curry, some on Klay Thompson, and some on Draymond Green. And in his mentality to do this, how is the most valuable person on that team this guy when all of them are all playing equal amount of roles in the success of the team? It doesn't add up for me to want to vote him as MVP when you left your opportunity to be the major point of your team to find a simpler path to success, which you can do that. You're a grown man in today's NBA, but that in turn takes away your argument for MVP and ever being considered one of the greatest of all time. And I would stick by that as long as Kevin Durant's on that team. He is not a top 20 player of all time, which he could have been if he sticked around, or even on any other team other than Golden State. He took himself out of the discussion. Then you go to James Harden. He's the only one that I can say has an argument to be the MVP other than Russell Westbrook without question. He's the one that puts the team on his back. The team runs through him. He still gets about 11 assists a game with his 30 points. I think it's around 30, but I don't know if he slipped under around now. And eight rebounds. That's killing it. He's doing all he can, again, to make sure his team is involved. He's a major point of their success. The improvement that they have from this year to last year is major. That has been shown through his play as well. So I can see the argument for James Harden. And his team has a chance to get to the finals, which I'm predicting that this is going to happen. So if you're going to argue for anyone to get the MVP, it would be James Harden. And if he doesn't win, if Westbrook doesn't win, then I will have a little argument of why Harden won. And with all that being said, when you look back in history, Oscar Robertson averaged 30 points, 11 rebounds, 12 assists, and didn't get the MVP. People use that as an argument of why he didn't get the MVP, but that's not a good argument to me. When you look at the history, you got to always look through the cracks of why this didn't happen, why such an amazing feat of a team that made the playoffs, why he didn't get his MVP. Will Chamberlain averaged 50 and 20 that year. Bill Russell averaged 19 and 23 that year. When two players having numbers that astronomical, there's a reason why a triple-double may be overlooked in that situation. If you're averaging 50 points and 25 rebounds, that's MVP too. If you're averaging 18 points, 19 points, 23 rebounds, that's MVP too. Those are crazy numbers to have on your resume when it comes all said and done. So those type of numbers, those are numbers that are MVP numbers without question as well. So when you add all that together, that's why Oscar Robertson didn't win the MVP that year. But there's no numbers astronomical like that this year. So if you look at the history of the NBA and where this feat will reign, if Westbrook averages a triple-double, he has to win the MVP if he averages a triple-double. If he falls short, then it's clearly James Harden in my books. But you always have to look at the history component of the NBA just because that's what the NBA has always been about. It's been about where you live down history. And the triple-double in today's NBA, it would just be a feat that will be untouched again, just as long as Oscar Robertson's was. So that's what I had to say in the situation. That's another episode of Breaking News with Doc and why Russell Westbrook is the clear MVP. And hopefully later on this week we'll get an episode of why the biggest mistake of all time was the three. It's going to be the last 4 years top 2 MVP candidates. So three of those players were on the same team. They all left, and how they completely just screwed themselves by doing this. So with that, that's the end of today's episode of VoSNED, and thank you for sticking around. I've been your host, Doc, and I hope to see y'all around again.